They walk in that room, they become yours. And you got this energy inside your soul that says, I am the number one determinant of the success or failure of my students. Hey, y'all, when you get back, kick some butt. I'll see you in the winner's circle celebrating your victory. Let's go. 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 Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, everybody.
And we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to week 214 of the AP and New Principals Academy. Let me see who we got checking in here. We had some folks on here early, man. That's I'm honored by that. We got Sharon Wright says greetings to myself and the Queen tuning in from Brooklyn. You see what I'm wearing. It is not the Brooklyn Dodgers, though, y'all. This is Negro Leagues alternate jersey summer mesh Brooklyn Royal Giants. I'll get more into that because I got to talk a little bit about the Negro Leagues today. We got Mona Abamolak in the building. She too extends greetings to my wife and myself. And she's down in Orlando, Florida, where we at AP Patrick Lawrence is here down in Connecticut, and he too extends greetings to the Queen. Yes, Rodney Richardson's down in Hampton, Virginia. We got Steve Harper checking out Dr. Rachel Edoho-Eket. Steve says she's an amazing leader, and I can't wait to hear what she has to say. Oh, she got a lot to say. Thank you for having her on. Yeah, second time too. Chi Young from Maryland is in the building. Grace Castaneda. She's from Texas, but she's in Montego Bay. You're a crop duster away from me, right? We got Sonia Matthew in the building, Maryland. We got the whole state of Maryland in here. We got Takesha High, Virginia. Chi Young, is it Che Young? Chi Young, and I know I said you before, but I see you got that comment there too. Good stuff. Appreciate you. Scott Wiley out in Chester, Virginia. Marsha Poe is in San Diego. James Clark, Philly, and Marsha, I ain't forget you. You on my list. I just gotta make it happen. That list is so long, but I got you. Constance Sherrod in Pearl, Mississippi. Angela P, Texas. Tashika Truesdale, Atlanta, Georgia. Vanessa Zeskin is in Connecticut. Ethel S. Grace, Maryland again. Maryland has shown up strong. Lysandra Brackens is in North Carolina. Lisa DeBose Walker. She said good morning, and then she said from, and I guess she accidentally hit that post button. Where we at? Arias Melvin, Brandon, Mississippi. Dr. Rella Hicks is down in Augusta, GA. Dr. Sheikah Houston in Chester, South Carolina. The one half of Create and Educate along with Dr. Tammy Taylor every Saturday morning. Facebook Live at 10:30 Eastern time. They follow up Sean Hurt 10 o'clock on Facebook Live as well. So that's every Saturday morning, and then I follow up at 10:55. We call it Super Saturday, but then we got Josh Tovar back online. PGP podcast Sunday nights at 5 Eastern time, which makes up all of us the Fantastic Four. Dr. Roz Gaskins in the building. She's also in Maryland. The Otis Kitchen II is in the building. That's Principal Otis Kitchen II. I see you down there in Tampa. What's that? In 2 weeks, I think. Jacqueline Harriet's in the building up there in Nova Scotia. Michael Benton is in the building. Sherrod Laws. I've been reading a lot about the district, Michael Benton, and I read a lot about it this past week, so I know exactly what's going on now. Rashard Davis is in Vegas, is in the building. The queen of the castle, my Aruba hotel room is in the building. Woodrow Price is in the building on Mississippi. I'm getting ready to shut it down, y'all. We got a lot to talk about, but let me see. We got Melissa Jones Chuno is here. Charlena Hottie is here. We got Annette Mack. We got Principal Dot McKeever Jeter in the building. Somebody give me a thumbs up if my connection is good. I think it should be. I don't see any indication. My wife said it's good. Okay, we good. All right, so just want to make sure. I'm gonna end here with it says Jasmine Retchie. She said representing Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm gonna end there because I thought I was gonna be in Little Rock this week, next week. Not in Little Rock, but in Pine Bluff. But I was going to stop at Little Rock because I always stop. Whenever I'm in that part of Arkansas, I always stop at Little Rock Central High School and do a Facebook Live and just narrate the history in 1957 and 58. 58 is important because all the high schools were shut down in Little Rock. So the 57 certainly with the Little Rock 9, but then 58 deserves mention. But then the Pine Bluff engagement fell through. 11th hour, so I wasn't able to make it happen. So we'll get there another time. But anytime I see Little Rock, Arkansas, it just triggers those particular thoughts in history. So with that being said, y'all know I'm not gonna get too loud in here. I'm in a hotel, and plus I never did call Apple about my fire, right? Though some of y'all don't even know what I'm talking about, but the ones who are regulars, the fam, you do. So let me say to you, I will say, good morning. Hope everybody woke up. Greetings. Welcome to week 214 of the AP and New Principals Academy. Listen, y'all, sometimes I'll say I don't know about you, but I want to word that differently today. This work called leadership, it's not easy work. If there's someone out there, whether it be the fam that's watching now, whether it be on the thread or the folks that don't go on the thread, but are locked in, if you know somebody, whether it be you or someone who has concluded that this thing called principal leadership or this thing called assistant principal leadership, if you've met somebody or if it's you and they've concluded or you've concluded that this is easy work, I want to meet them. Like hook me up. I want to introduce me to this person because I want to find out what's so easy about it. When you got this diversity of children and diversity of staff, and you found this thing to be easy, like playing checkers, right? No, for me, it's complicated, man. It's complex, right? It's fun, right? But fun is not synonymous with easy, right? Yes, the work was fun, and yes, the work was rewarding, fulfilling, but not easy. So I'm saying that to say this. I know I don't want to use the word definitively because that would mean I've talked to all of you, but I'm very confident that there are people on the call right now that the week was a challenge, or there were days that were overwhelming, or the month of May was bananas, right? Or the year has just not been what I'm accustomed to. It's just been a roller coaster, peaks and valleys. I get it. So I'm saying that to say this. Sometimes I like to just come at you and say, I don't know about you, but I'm on fire. But I want to be a little bit more real on this one and say, I know that there are folks out here who are not on fire. But my hope is that you haven't lost your fire for the work, for your leadership, but most importantly, for the children, right? But outside of that, yeah, man, the work can bring us down. So now, secondly, it's my hope that this platform gives you a burst of energy, man, a burst of enthusiasm, a burst of excitement, a burst of recommitment, a burst of reigniting your passion, your drive, your determination, your vision to get it done. I hope that that's why people tune in, because it's something about 10:55 when the AP and New Principals Academy comes on, and matter of fact, go back to 10 o'clock when Sean Hurt comes on, and then when Sheikah and Tammy come on, and then when I come on, and then when Josh follows up on Sunday, that it just elevates the flame. See, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. So I ain't gonna scream in here. I'm in Aruba, y'all. People could have been partying all night long, and I could wake them up. We're not going to do that. But I'm gonna let you. Although I was gonna say the mic mutes me, but it don't mute me. It just mutes what you hear. So I'm gonna let y'all know I'm on fire, right? I'm blazing. I really am. Partly just from being on this vacation that I'm on here in Aruba, man. Hot and sunny every day, no rain. Aruba's windy, but it don't even matter, man, because the heat overrides that. But it's just I'm just having a great time. I get back tomorrow, and it's gonna be on from June till the end of August, man. Pray for me, because a lot of them weeks I'm doing 5 states per week consecutively, right? So pray for me. But that's the life I chose. So let me get to some of these announcements, and then I'm gonna bring up my guests, man. We got the powerhouse in the building. Man, we got the author of this joint in the building, the principal's journey, navigating the path to school leadership. We got the good Dr. Rachel Edoho-Eket in the building. Hey Rachel, she sees me from backstage. That's right. I brought the book all the way to Aruba. So, let me get through these announcements, y'all, real quick. I got a little monologue for you too, though. I got no shout outs because I haven't been anywhere, but I will say, but this will go into my monologue in a few minutes. Shout out to Major League Baseball, right? Shout out to Major League Baseball. You finally did the right thing. It's over a century late, but it got done, right? Welcome to the first timers. I'm here in this hotel. These people refuse to print my agenda. Like I'm going to complain to the management later. So I got to use my phone. It's a little awkward. I'm a diamond member with Hilton, and you can't print my agenda. Like, really? Right. So anyway, welcome to the first timers. But if this is your first time, put your ear to the speaker real quick. You've missed out on 213 sessions, right? 213 consecutive sessions you've missed out on. So you might want to go to the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel. Once again, the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel, and check out them 213 you missed, and then rewatch this one, and then get caught up. It's just so much information, so much content. You don't have to pay a cent for it. All you need is Wi-Fi, right? So make sure that you lock in and hit the subscribe button. We had 21,100 subscribers. That's a lot for the kid, man. For the kid from East Orange, New Jersey. 21,100 subscribers. 100 and some change. So hit that subscribe button so we can get it up to 21,200 subscribers. Join me. It's almost here, July 9 and 10 in Houston, the School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. Man, we're gonna be there for 2 days, just talking leadership, specifically instructional leadership, instructional coaching. My main topic, because it's not gonna be all I talk about, but my primary topic: what is my value to the teachers that I supervise instructionally? I just finished writing the book here on my balcony here in Aruba. 50,000 words. I had told y'all a few weeks ago, 40,000, 25,000, then 40,000, then 45,000. Man, the guy kept giving me stuff. He said, nah, son, open that computer back up. You don't have everything in there yet. And I just kept writing. It's like, I kept saying to myself, where is this coming from? And I just kept typing. I thought this book was done. How do I have 5,000 more words? I thought I was done, but God said, we ain't finished with this project. Open up the laptop, get your butt up out of bed, open up the laptop, go out on the balcony, and just start typing. And that's what I did. I'm being God's honest truth with you all. I just started typing, and all these words kept coming, just kept coming. So it's 5,000 words for the world. For the world. What is my value? Let me say that right now. What is my value to the teachers that I supervise? Not that you supervise leadership team partner. Not that you supervise leadership team partner. What is my value to the teachers that I supervise ... instructionally? What's my value to them? That's the question. And then I spend 50,000 words answering the question. When will the book be released? December. When can you pre-order? in October, around my birthday, when I turned 64. Somebody said, he's 60, he that old? He look, man, Kafele look 40. Yeah, I know, but you know. So anyway, join me July 9 and 10 in Houston at the School Leadership Institute. Just go to principalkafele.com, scroll down. I see my mother even put a comment. Man, look at that, Dolores Cushney, y'all. Now don't go in there sending her all these friend requests either. She's 89. She's not going to keep up with you, right? But she, my mother said too much information, man, right? So. But that's Dolores Cushney, y'all, right? So yeah, join me. Go to principalkafele.com, hit the button, hit the link, and join me in Houston, July 9 and 10 at the School Leadership Institute with Principal Kafele. But then get yourself another ticket back to Houston if you're not already there, July 18 through 21 for the Black Educators Rock Conference, man. 4 days, 18 through 21, man. Whew! I'll be there the 20th and the 21st. The 21st, I do an all-day leadership seminar. I don't know what my topic will be, but we're talking leadership, so it's relevant. So join me there, too. That's in Houston. Go to rockconference.org. Rockconference, one word, .org. My books, I didn't bring any with me. I only brought Rachel's book. The Principal's Journey, Navigating the Path to School Leadership. Go to Amazon and get yourself a copy right now. But you know my books, The Assistant Principal 50, The Aspiring Principal 50, The Assistant Principal Identity, Is My School a Better School Because I Lead It, and something else that I missed, right? So The Principal 50, right? So they're all on Amazon. Those are my leadership books. So go to Amazon and get yourself a copy if you don't have the copy. And then I think I'm getting ready to be done. Yeah, I'm done. The AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. I know I haven't written an essay in a while. I'll get to it at some point, but I still want you to follow it and like it so that you can read the previous 120-something essays that I wrote on a Sunday morning, right? So it's not like it's not relevant. Let me go through my monologue real quick, y'all. I know I got the big time guests. Let me just get through this, man. You know, I do the YouTube shorts on Wednesdays. I call it my midweek fire, 60-second videos on YouTube that are on my AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel. But the one I did this past Wednesday is the finale for the season. I'm not doing any more until September, the first Saturday in September. But I want to talk about the topic that I shared real quick. It was called, what's that one thing that you will improve upon going into next year? Once again, what's that one thing that you will improve upon going into next year? Said differently, what's that one thing that you said, I'm not where I want to be. I wasn't where I needed to be. I wasn't at the level of accomplishment that I needed to be under my leadership. So that one thing, since I just spoke about instructional leadership, was it the totality of instructional leadership that you said, I got to get better? Was it your planning, organization, and time management so that you can be that instructional leader? Was it the way you go about the conversation in the pre-observation conference? Was it the way that you go about the conversation in the post-observation conference? Was it the follow-up? Was it your attention to detail when you were in the classroom with the observation, right? And I go on and on. I'm brainstorming right now to say that what's that one thing? Maybe it's the way that you manage your budget, right? Maybe it's the systems that you have in place in school. Maybe there's certain systems that weren't operating or functioning the way that you would want them to. Maybe it was the relationships and rapport with certain staff members. Maybe it was relationship and rapport with certain students. Whatever it was, I'm asking you, what's that one thing? Now, of course, it could be more than one, but I just want to focus on one. What's that one thing that you said, I've got to be better in the 2024-25 school year? I've got to be more effective in the 24-25 school year. That one thing that you said, yeah, man, during the summer, yes, I will take it down. Yes, I will relax. Yes, I will go on vacation. Yes, I will rejuvenate. But within that, you're a school leader. You can't shut it off. You can't turn the switch off until school reopens in the fall. So somewhere in there, there's got to be that mental, that emotional preparation for the forthcoming school year. And that's what the question that I'm asking you about. What's that one thing? Jot it down, man. I got my pen right here. Jot it down. and then make sure that you don't deviate from it. Put it at your core of things I've got to do over the summer, because I cannot repeat that thing relative to what I did last year going into next school year. I can't repeat that. I got to be better. So that's number one. Number two, I just want to talk quickly about the Negro Leagues. Y'all know that the Negro Leagues is a part of the brand of this platform. All year round, I'm wearing authentic Negro League jerseys. In the summer, I'll rock a major league jersey of a player that played long ago or once played in the Negro Leagues, like a Willie Mays, right? Or I wear these new ones. I got these mesh alternate jerseys, but still representing the Negro League. So this is the Brooklyn Royal Giants, not the Brooklyn Dodgers, as somebody may have thought, right? Which would logically make sense, but not because of the color. But nah, Brooklyn Royal Giants. But I, the monologue, man. There's a lesson in there, man. I'll focus on one player because of time. Josh Gibson. Josh Gibson, a man who they say hit, they say 800 plus home runs, but there are players that played with him who said even that number's low when you factor in the exhibition games, the semi-pro games. They're saying that Josh Gibson may have exceeded 1,000 home runs. And some of them home runs, like the ones in Yankee Stadium, went outside of the park. They hit the streets, right? They said he hit a 580-footer, 600-footer. That's unheard of, right? But in merging the Negro League, and I know you saw this, but you're hearing it from your brother this morning, in merging the Negro League statistics with the Major League statistics, they determined that Josh Gibson is the number one, had the number one career batting average in the history of baseball, which shattered Ty Cobb's record, which is almost a century old. But simultaneously, he shattered the single season batting average record, right? The single season. So now Josh Gibson, a guy that was born black, and as a result of being born black, was barred from the major leagues, right? It's barred from everything. We talk about segregation, but we're going to keep it on baseball. Barred from the major leagues, although he was the best player on the planet, and the major leagues knew about it because they knew those Negro League players because they did exhibition games against them. Babe Ruth knew him intimately, but I ain't going to get into all that history. We ain't got that kind of time, right? So, but I'm saying this to you. So here you got the best player. I don't even want to say arguably. I'm saying, I'm just going to put it out there emphatically, the best player to ever suit up to play baseball. But those stats were never recognized until this past Wednesday. Yes, he's in the Hall of Fame for the Major League Baseball, but those stats weren't merged. Now the stats were merged, and he emerged as the number one, with having the number one career batting average in Major League Baseball for the season and career. Now there's a lesson in that. Let me give you the lesson, and then I'm done. The lesson is expose the history. There's a few lessons. Let me give you a couple of them. Expose the history, and the truth will be revealed. Let me say that again. Expose the history, and the truth will be revealed. You just have to expose it. If it's hidden, if it's marginalized, if it's distorted, if it's caricaturized, right? Then we'll never know it. But expose it, and the truth will be revealed, right? But there's another lesson in this as it relates to what we do. Let the children know the history, and we'll see who they really are. Let that marinate for a second. Let the children in on the history, and then we'll see who they really are. See, if they don't know the history, they're going to substitute it with whatever. I'm not even going to get into the whatevers because we don't have that kind of time. If they don't know the history, they will substitute the history with whatever. And guess what? My colleagues, my fam out here this morning, we see the whatever play out every day. We see the whatever play out every day. Expose them to their story. Those of you on this platform that know me, had I not been introduced, stumbled upon my story, historically speaking, in 1984, I am not on this platform in 2024. I don't have it because I'm not this guy. I'm somebody else. But that history was the game changer. Enough said. That's my monologue for today. Hit that share button, hit that retweet. I don't think Twitter is on with us today. There's an issue with Twitter and all third-party apps, which includes StreamYard. So hopefully my Twitter fam switched over to the YouTube channel as I asked them to do on the Twitter page. Twitter works. Twitter just doesn't work for live streaming this morning, right? So hopefully those Twitter folks went on over and they're on with us live. Well, our numbers look good, so they probably are. Let's go. I got the big time guest here, so let me move my phone, man. I'm mad at this Hilton here. They wouldn't print my notes. Give me some lame excuse. So I'm gonna talk to the manager later. He gonna know Principal Kafele today, he or she, whoever they are. But let me get my guest up here, man. Let me fix my screen. Oh my God. Oh my God. Don't say anything yet, Rachel. I mean, fix this screen. This is terrible. That's not it either. What are we doing? What are we doing? Come on, get it together. Here we are. Now let's drop that down a little bit. Ooh, there we are. Good morning to you, good Dr. Rachel Edoho-Eket.
Good morning. How are you? It's good to see everyone.
I'm on fire. I'm blazing.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful Saturday morning. I don't know what it looks like in New Jersey. No, actually, I guess I do know. We've been watching New York news all week, so it's supposed to be nice.
It's nice. Yep.
Yeah, nice all over the East, but it's beautiful here in Aruba. I hate that I'm going home tomorrow, but life's got to resume, right? So let's, to the folks out there, my topic today, our topic, do you really understand school leadership? Now, we ain't going to get into the totality of school leadership. That would take we need to be on here for about 5-6 days, maybe a whole week. But we're going to touch on a few things. But for those of you that don't know, Dr. Edoho-Eket, and I typically call my guests, even though I know the ones I know personally, like Dr. Edoho-Eket, I call him doctor because I instead of making it personal, because I want that doctorate to be an inspiration to somebody else. I want them to hear doctor, 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 and you hear it so much. Like you may have started a dissertation and then you kind of got lax with it, put it to the side, and then you on here this morning, Kafele keeps saying doctor, 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 doctor. Oh man, I gotta resume my studies. Yeah, that's why we do this, y'all. That's why we do this. So let me read the bio, y'all. We got. I'm trying to say something I don't want to say. Let me read the bio. Dr. Rachel Edoho-Eket is a wife, mother, principal, speaker, and author. As a 2024 president-elect of the Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals. Let me say that again. The 2024 president-elect of the Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals. She helps promote leadership growth and learning opportunities for leaders while advocating for all educational stakeholders on the local, state, and national level. With decades as a teacher and leader, it's hard to read the phone, man. Let me bring it closer. With decades as a teacher and leader in public education, she has earned the reputation as a strong instructional leader, passionate advocate, and dedicated mentor. As the principal of a top-ranked school in Maryland, she is a lifelong learner who strives for excellence not only for herself, but for everyone she serves. Dr. Edoho-Eket's belief in fostering meaningful relationships serves as the foundation for everything she does, and her highly effective teaching and leadership style continues to inspire up-and-coming aspiring teacher leaders. During her nearly 20-year career in public education, she has proudly served as a classroom teacher, instructional team leader, mentor teacher, assistant principal, and principal. At the ASCD annual conference this past March, Dr. Edoho-Eket delivered a compelling closing keynote encouraging teachers and leaders across the world to focus on moments of joy during challenging times and to remain resilient in their work each day. As an engaging conference speaker on the state and national level and a frequent guest on leadership podcasts, Edoho-Eket provides an authentic perspective that is rooted in student-centered practices, cultivating positive relationships with staff, students, and families, and continued learning and growth, both personally and professionally. Her best-selling book, The Principal's Journey, Navigating the Path to School Leadership, provides a helpful and practical blueprint for educators to follow as they transition into new leadership roles. Most recently, she fulfilled a lifelong dream to publish a children's book and corresponding educational activity booklet called The Principal's Pals, which encourages young readers to use their leadership skills to make a positive difference in the lives of others. Lastly, Dr. Edoho-Eket holds a BS in early childhood and elementary, let me say it again, in early childhood and elementary education from Temple University, an MS in curriculum and instruction from McDaniel College, and a doctorate in leadership and professional practice from, I hope I pronounce this correctly, Trevecca Nazarene University.
Yes.
That's a whole lot there and very impressive. Hey, folks, we are ready to go. I'm finished with all the preliminaries. Hit the retweet button, hit the share button, hit the repost button, hit the tag button, tag somebody, text somebody, hit them Facebook leadership groups. Let them know we're here. We got important information to talk about. So I'm ready to go. Dr. Rachel Edoho-Eket is my guest. And Doc, you were last here on July 29th, which was week number 170. So that was it. That was last July,
Yeah.
when I was on the verge of a cruise. We're a little earlier this year. A lot has happened in your life.
Yes.
The last time, and I pulled from the bio, and I want to highlight this, and I want to talk about it a little bit. So to the fam out there, once again, 2024 president-elect of the Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals, which falls under the National Association of Elementary School Principals. So last year, this time, that wasn't a reality just yet. Delivered a closing keynote address at the 2024 ASCD annual conference. Last year, this time, that was probably just a dream, a wish,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
A hope that one day, and now here you are, less than a year later, this is a part of what you've accomplished, your resume. And then thirdly, most recently, you fulfilled a lifelong dream to publish a children's book and corresponding educational activity booklet called The Principal's Pals, which encourages young readers to use their leadership skills to make a positive difference in the lives of others. So my question to you as we move on, why the role of ultimately president of the Maryland Association of Elementary School Principals? And what I mean by that, in other words, you're taking on this role because you fill in the blank.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me, Principal Kafele. I know my life has changed so much, and you're a big part of that over the last year. I want to take on this role, and I'm so thankful for all of the support in my state of Maryland. There are so many amazing leaders. And MAESP, that's the acronym for the Maryland Association for Elementary School Principals. And I'm taking on that role because I want to learn and to continue to advocate for the principals and assistant principals, the aspiring leaders, and the teacher leaders across our state. What I have learned over the past year and beyond is that there's so much to do. And even though we're leading our individual schools, and we might have some specific things that we're working on, what I've learned as I'm talking with people across the state and beyond, there are some major points that all of us are managing around, right? Chronic absenteeism, having extensive workload, teacher shortages. So there are just some things that I want to continue with the help of other leaders to advocate for. And so that's why I'm so excited to be in that role and continue to learn with the wonderful MAESP team.
Yeah, that's major. And I didn't say anything to you about it off camera. I wanted to wait until we got on camera. But when I read it earlier this week, I said, wow, you are doing big things, and particularly in such a short span of time, the change that has occurred. And you already a highly successful principal, already an author.
Thank you.
Consultant, you're doing your thing. So I'm saying that I'm saying something to you that you already know, because I'm using your accomplishment to inspire somebody out there who may be in a rut right now, right? We all run into ruts. We all have obstacles. We all have challenges, but we fight through them.
Yes.
right? And if there's somebody on here, and as you hold up your mirror, as I will get mine out the bag, and Josh, if you're on here, it ain't clean, right? But as you hold up your mirror, you got to ask yourself, and what am I doing to fight through? That matters, right? So with that said, in your ASCD closing keynote, Dr. Edoho-Eket, you encourage the audience to focus on moments of joy. That's
Yes.
key. That's critical. To
Yes.
focus on moments of joy during challenging times, and to remain resilient in their work each day. Now, I want to give that a context. I'm not going to call out any names, but I happen to know one of our Cincinnati fam is on here, right? I'm gonna leave that right there, and I'm gonna say this: in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is not a criticism of Cincinnati public schools. I'm just telling you what I read. They had to let 12 assistant principals go, and they indicated that there are multiple teacher vacancies. So those particular individuals, those 12, they can go into the classroom, but knowing that they were administrators a minute ago. Now, let me juxtapose that with this, Dr. Edoho-Eket. I have received many, I don't want to quantify it, but many inboxes from APs outside of Cincinnati over the past several weeks who are in the same exact situation, that they are APs. They were not let go due to performance.
Right.
They were let go due to budget, right? So therefore, now they've got to make a decision. So they'll write me and they'll say, Principal Fele, like I have certification doing this, doing that. I can go into the classroom, or I can wait it out and find a position. Now, I don't want you to be influenced by what I said at all, Doc. I just want to tell you what I said. And then I want to hear from you based on your remarks in the closing keynote. What I said was, if economically you can go for a little bit without having to go back into the classroom or that other position that you don't want to do, then pursue that assistant principalship in another place. If economically you can handle it. If economically it's going to be a strain on your family, then don't do that. Then go ahead and take the position, but continue to look for work.
Right.
Interviewing during work hours not going to work and all that kind of thing. But I'm just one of them guys that if it's something I want and I want it really bad, I'm going to get it. Right, by whatever means I have to take, but I'm going to get it. So here, you said, I just want to repeat one more time. In the context of that, I'm saying you said focusing on moments of joy during challenging times and remain resilient in their work each day. What advice might you offer to some of these folks? One I know is on here, but there could be more than the one.
Yeah, first of all, I empathize with that situation that is happening nationally, where because of budget issues, systems are having to reduce kind of across the board. And so it has been extremely challenging to watch people that, experience that. I would say, of course, the advice that you already gave, Principal Kafele, but in terms of the joyful moments, just finding what gives you joy and what are some things that you can focus on, no matter how small they might be, but just to keep you encouraged during this moment. One thing I do know is that challenging times are temporary. That's something that I had to learn. And one of the best pieces of advice that I have had, that I've heard, is don't make a life-changing decision when you're in the middle of something. So when you are very emotional, high or low, don't make a decision during that time. Wait and see. If you take that wait and see approach, when you have a level head, then make some of those decisions. The reason why I'm saying that is because I have been in a very similar position in terms of being a new principal during COVID-19. And there were so many moments, my colleagues know, there were so many moments where I was at such a low point that I was ready to go. I kept questioning, is this the right thing that I should be doing? Is this fulfilling my skill set? Is this what I should be doing? And ultimately, I decided to wait it out and not make that life-changing decision when I was at a low point. And I'm so glad that I did that, because if I would have left, I would have missed all of the things that are happening right now in my life. And so I just want to encourage you that this is temporary. It might take a change of the district. It might take you staying in your district, waiting it out a year and re-entering that pool and going back to the work. There's definitely options. So never feel like you have to do something. Definitely consider all of your options and have that level head before you make a decision. That would be my advice. Yeah.
That's solid advice. And I want to highlight something you said right at the beginning. You said challenging times are temporary, right? Hey, somebody out there who's in it right now, right? Who Dr. Edoho-Eket just said, this is, if you're in it right now, this is not the time to make a life-changing decision. Whatever the situation may be, challenging times are temporary. Like you, I remember when I was going through, I talk about it here all the time. I'm not going to do it today, but I remember when I was going through mine. I remember, but I had to remind myself that this is not permanent. This is just the space I'm in right now, right? So challenging times are temporary, but at the end of the day, there's a decision you're going to have to make. Those of you who are out there with us live right now, or those of you who will see this later on, and you're in that situation, man, I was riding my dream. I was riding my purpose. I was riding my passion, and then boom, some budgetary issues. A lot of it's dealing with the COVID money has run out, right? So I don't know if folks had planned for when that money was going to run out, or we were just acting like that money was going to be there permanently. I don't know. I can only speculate. But now here we are in this situation. But I can say to someone out there that may be on with us or who will see the video later, your opportunity is still out there waiting for you. But your job is to find it.
Yes.
It's there. There's a school out there and your name is written on the bricks outside, right? But it's your role.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find it. And it might not be in your city or your town.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be in your region. It might not be in your state.
Yeah.
But it might be.
Yeah.
You got to find it. That's your role. And the question becomes, how much effort are you going to put into it? How much you going to put into it, man? Mm-hmm. As I told you all before, I wrote the 45,000 words in 18 days, man. Mm-hmm. 18. I put everything into it and then got up here to Aruba and found out I had more. I put the additional 5,000 words in it over 2 days, right? So I'm saying to you, it boils down to your effort. Effort is a powerful word. Let me get back to you, Dr. Rachel Edoho-Eket. So you wrote this children's book.
Yes. Tell
me something. Why write a children's book? And you can give that explanation that I read before. What made you want to do that?
I have always wanted to write a book for children. My grandmother was a school librarian in the Baltimore City's public school system for over 20 years. And so I grew up in her library and helping her set up her area. And I've always loved that, reading and that process. And then as a kindergarten teacher, which is where I came from, I have loved that process of teaching children how to read, doing read alouds with children and getting them interested in whatever the story is. And so once I wrote a book for adults, first of all, it's very different to write a book for children. So writing the book for the adults was wonderful, talking about leadership, but I really wanted to do something for the children that I serve, because I love getting into classrooms and reading books to kids as a principal. So I felt that it would be amazing to write a book for children and read it to them that I have written. And so this is what it looks like. It's called The Principal Pals, and it is based on what we do at our school. Oh yeah, it's right here. It's on Amazon as well. And it has a booklet with it that has educational activities that go along with it. So they come like as a set. But what I love about this is every year at our school, we do something called the Principal of the Day. And it's a time we do it by a lottery because there's a lot of children who want to be the principal and assistant principal of the day. And so we work with our PTA to do that. We just pull a name out of the hat, and those two children work alongside us for the entire day. And we make a whole big deal of this. The community gets involved, the students are excited about it. And it's an opportunity for children to develop their leadership skills and learn more what it's about to be a principal. So the story is written from the perspective of children who want to learn more about what a principal does, and they want to spend time with their principal. And so all day they go throughout their day, and there's, different, they get dressed and they're ready for their day. This is like one of the pictures. And they dress up like their principal, because you have to be very dressed when you're the principal. They organize an activity for children, and
you slid that in, man.
Yeah, so I'm going to show that one more. Yes, so that's where they're in the children. And it's just a fun story. It's a simple story, but having an opportunity to read it to children has been amazing. And what's fun about it is the accompanying book has all these activities in there, right? So there's coloring pages, there's word searches, comprehension questions related to the book. But my favorite activity has been watching children. There's one that says, design a map of your dream school. And I asked the children, if you could design a school, what would you put? The level of engagement around, I want a Chick-fil-A, I want a petting zoo, I want a roller coaster. I mean, I've had children make copies of the pages and give me levels of the building. This is floor 1, floor 2, floor 3. Wow. So I just love seeing that engagement, because children have so much to say about a principal. And it's fun to hear their perceptions about what we do. It's not all about discipline. There's things that we do, to help the children, help students. And so it's been really fun to watch that unfold and read with children.
So Char said, how do we purchase? And as you said, go right to Amazon.
Yeah, both are on Amazon. Yes.
I'll put Dr. Edoho-Eket's name back up so you can see how to spell it. And then, you go right there. I see you, Beth Hoff. Beth Hoff, former National Principal of the Year, stopping by, which I know you do regularly. So I appreciate you. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Two things. Number one, the focus on children learning what a principal does. I find that to be so intriguing and compelling. And here's why. I've been preaching for a long time. I've said it on this platform that in a lot of schools, the only one that knows what the principal does is the principal.
Right.
Right. The teachers don't know the fullness of what principals do. The assistant principal, unless that person is being properly trained, that person doesn't know the fullness, the totality of what a principal does. And certainly the children don't. Right. Yeah. So the only one that really knows is the principal. So here you write a book, and we're gonna hope it becomes a best-selling book, and and particularly principals see its value so that they can expose it to their children. And now children beginning to learn, oh, that's not just the boss.
Yes.
Right? There's so much to who this person is beyond being the boss.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
So that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
And can I add one more thing that I have? I've included my favorite teachers, and my grandmother is one of the characters in the book. She's the school librarian. So the students go to the school librarian to do research on the principal's job and children leaders around the world. So it really was a tribute to my grandmother. It's dedicated to her. And it was fun to have some of my former teachers who didn't know that they were a part of the book reading it for the first time and seeing their image in the story. So that was just great moments. Yeah.
That's good stuff. I think that you have written something very unique. I just can't imagine that there's something comparable to that's already out there. So I think you're on to something.
Thank you.
So with that said, you're a practicing principal right now.
Yes.
Who has happened to write a book. I've said on this platform multiple times that principals and to a lesser extent assistant principals, but certainly principals should be writers of articles for professional journals.
Yes.
Writers of their own blog posts, or authors of their own blog posts, and authors of books.
Yes.
And the reason that I say it is because you bring, and I'm talking to you all out there,
Mhm.
You bring an awareness and an understanding
Mhm.
that the non-principal that writes leadership books does not have. I don't care how much research they did, until they walk in your shoes in real time and really understand what that is. They don't know. Like if you're in a school that's got at least 2 stories high, and this may sound this will sound trivial to the lay person out there, but you all will get this. If I could do all the research in the world, but if I've got at least 2 stories, I don't know what that walk is from the first floor to the second floor. I can't appreciate that. That's not the same thing as walking from the first to the second at the hotel, right? Or at the store, wherever there's staircases these days, outside of an escalator. But I'm saying here, I remember I'm visualizing this right now, that walk. Like depending on what I had going on, and that walk up to that flight of stairs to the next floor. That researcher can't capture that. So I'm saying, so I gave you something so trivial to say that, hey, leader out there, writing has got to be a part of your forte as well. So I want to flip this over to you, Doc, and ask the question, in your mind, what is the significance of a principal or an AP having a blog page, submitting an article to a professional journal, or even going that next step as you did in writing that book?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. In fact, one of the shorts that you did a couple weeks ago was challenging everyone to write their either a book or, an article. I really found so much value in sharing the knowledge. There's not one person who knows everything. That doesn't happen. But what I have found is each person has something to contribute. Even if you think in your mind that what you have to contribute that you've done in your school is something minor, I can tell you that it is something that is going to positively impact someone else and their school community. And so for me, it was very motivating to write the book and then to have people say, this helped me, because that's why I wrote the book in the first place. We know there's a shortage issue of teachers, and we definitely know there's a shortage issue of leaders. And so we have to humanize the role. We have to let people know how to do it successfully. It's not going to be perfect. But if we as the practitioners, as working principals and assistant principals, are able to give tips to help someone else, then we're doing the great work beyond the scope of our school. We've now extended it out state, nationally, and worldwide. So that's the value that I see in everyone telling their story and helping someone else. That's what this is about. It's sharing knowledge and helping everyone to get better.
Yep.
We all need to collectively do that.
Yep. That's right. I'm with you. Imagine somebody out there, you start a small blog post, blog page. You can go right to Google Blogs, right? Go to, if you're on Chrome, hit the little plus sign, and the Google page pops up, and you'll see all them Google options, and one of them says Google Blog. You can start your page in less than 5 minutes.
Right.
So but Principal Cofeling, I'm new to this. What do I do from there? Start writing.
Start writing.
Yeah, do it, and make sure you have someone proofread what you wrote, because your credibility is on the line every time you put something out there. So proofread what you wrote for grammar and all that kind of thing. 200 words, 300 words, 500 words, 800 words. It doesn't have to be lengthy. Just your thoughts, and maybe it's something you would send to your staff. Maybe you don't have. Maybe the public doesn't have to be your primary market right now. This is something you write to your staff. These are your thoughts, your private thoughts as it relates to what you do as a leader in your school, and now your staff gets another component of you. That's all. All right. It's like Ethel Grace said. Tell our story. Right, telling our story. That's all it is, right? So let's go. I'm gonna get to your talking points, but I told you your bio has some stuff in there. It gave me a lot of content. Your bio states that you have earned the reputation as a strong instructional leader, as a passionate advocate, and as a dedicated mentor. But it also states that you're a lifelong learner who strives for excellence, not only for yourself, but for everyone you serve. So with that being said, as the title of our conversation is, do you really understand school leadership? I want to take a deep dive into each of those three. Number one, instructional leadership. I broke this down as a 3-parter. So let me give you just the first part instead of giving it all to you at the same time. in the mind of Dr. Rachel Edoho-Eket, what is this thing called instructional leadership? Like, what is that?
Yeah, it's really supporting the teachers and making sure that they have not only the conditions that they need to be successful, but they have some of that professional learning and the opportunities to help their children and students improve. So one of the things that I've found success with in our leadership team is just being present in classrooms, making sure that we are seeing what's happening. I just recently talked about principals needing to substitute, right? As administrators, we have these shortages sometimes with not having enough substitutes. At my school, they know if there's ever an opportunity, I'm jumping into that substitute opportunity. And the students will say, it's principal substitute, because I love being in the classroom. That was something that I've said I will never get over leaving the classroom. I love teaching. And if we're going to be relevant school leaders, we have to know what is happening inside of our classrooms. You and I talked about this last year. It's very hard to be an instructional leader from your office seat. But if you're in the classrooms, if your teachers are giving you feedback and you are giving your teachers feedback, so it's two-way process. If you are able to know the learners and the students in your building, then that helps everyone to get better at what we're doing, to better serve the needs of the students. So I think being on the ground, being in classrooms, and actually sitting at that reading table or that math table and doing instruction with the students is an excellent way to be a great instructional leader. Now, of course, there's time. There are definitely things, but we have to prioritize that time to be with students and teachers.
When is it that, in your mind, in your judgment, when is it, if there is, that we're asking too much of a principal, of an AP, to engage and be effective in the various different components of school leadership, but by the same token, we're expecting you to be this instructional leader, which is inclusive of the pre and post observation conference.
Yes. Yeah.
When are we at a point when we're asking too much? What do you think?
I don't know when that point is. I know many leaders on this call today can say that we have all been strapped for time and trying to do everything. So one of the things that I focus my energy on, and our leadership team has done the same, is there is no way, like if I were to list out all of the things that we have to do as principals and assistant principals and aspiring leaders, that list is actually never ending. And so because we know that our plates are full, what I've had to do is really scale down and focus on 1, 2, or 3 things where I'm going to place my energy. And the other things, either I can delegate to our secretaries or things, because there's other parts of the job, they are important, right? They need to be done, but it doesn't mean that I or my APs have to do that work. So I think what we have started to focus on is getting into classrooms, doing informal walkthroughs. Of course, we have to do our formal observations in those cycles. And that's a start. Then we focused our energy on just doing data discussions, just once a month, doing vertical meetings. So we have one team level that's the lower and one on the higher. So second, we'll meet with third, and they discuss instruction, and we look across students and we look at how they're performing on different performance tasks. And then we're making sure our planning is aligned. That's where we put our energy this year, and we've seen big dividends there. We are not going to be able to attack every single thing, but if we're able to attack the things that we are putting, the most focus on, then we're moving the needle in the direction that it needs to go.
Love it. Love it. The third part of this 3-parter, think about a low performing school. Can this low performing school, in your judgment, reach optimal levels when the leadership is deficient in instructional leadership practices?
Well, that's why it's important to make sure that as leaders, I refer myself to as a learner first, because I cannot expect someone to do anything that I have not done. That's definitely a part of my leadership philosophy. So I know coming out of kindergarten, I had a lot of blind spots. It wasn't that I, had some deficiencies. It was the fact that coming out of kindergarten, I didn't know certain curriculums. I didn't know the ebb and flow of the year. So one of the things that I did as a new assistant principal was making sure that I was involved in those curriculum planning meetings with the teams. That helped me in so many different ways. One, to learn the curriculum, but also to be supportive of my staff because they're also learning new curriculums. We know, across all the years, curriculums come and go. So it's that constant, process of being present and learning together so that everyone is on the same page. So I don't know if I would call it deficiency as much as we as school leaders need to just invest some of that time in planning and being present when there's that PD going on so that we can help support our teachers as best as possible.
Yeah, I love it. So we got it, and I think the key word to what you just said was being present.
Yes.
It's got to be intentional. If we're going to, particularly in that school that's dealing with behavior, that's dealing with undesirable behavior, student discipline, that thing, that and the like, that can't be the crutch. That can't be the excuse, right? Those behaviors are probably happening because you're not the instructional leader that your school needs you to be.
I was going to say something similar to that because we all have had children in crisis. And one of the things, and as admin, we're usually called, right? And so one of the things that was helpful to us is making sure that we had a protocol for if a child is in crisis or if there's some behaviors going on, that there is like a string of people who will be contacted. And then if this person needs support, then they use the walkie-talkie and call someone else. So sometimes it's about making sure you're not necessarily the first point of contact when there's a crisis, but making sure that you have perhaps your school psychologist, or if you have a school counselor on staff or someone who can support as like a first line of defense. Sometimes it's a teacher who's a partner to you. I remember when I was in the classroom, it used to be, we would say, can you take a break next door? Take this note over to the other person so that our teachers could support each other within the team. It also could be an instructional match. So this is where that instructional leadership comes in. Sometimes behavior are a manifestation when there's a mismatch of instruction. So it might be the work is too easy or the work is too hard. And in either case, sometimes children are going to become dysregulated. And so it's also looking at that instructional match and making sure that the student has what he or she needs to be successful.
Good stuff. And we could obviously go on and on instructional leadership. That's a passion of mine, but I want to make sure we get through everything. But secondly, you talk about being this passionate advocate. And folks that are on here regularly know that word advocate is one of my words. But you added the word, you prefaced it by saying a passionate advocate. So my question to you is, what does it look like to be a passionate advocate?
Yeah, so I've had so many conversations with parents over the years that they may not be familiar with the schooling or the school setting, or perhaps they've had experiences previously where they didn't have the best experiences in school growing up, and they don't know and understand how to best, meet their child's needs. And so when I say passionate advocate, that means that I'm sitting down at the table or I'm making phone calls with families and I'm asking them, what do you need? What does your child need? And then from there, I'm looking within our team. I'm looking at our teachers. Who's the best teacher match for this student? Because we know having the right teacher with the right student makes all the difference for a child and their family. So first, it's really about playing matchmaker, making sure that we're setting our students and our teachers up for success. And then if there's any other resources that we can provide for families, then we work as a student support team to connect resources with families. So it's not just enough if a family says, I need this. We say, oh, let me just send you to this website and there's some general information for you. It's really taking that next step, making calls for families or having our secretaries make calls so that we can connect people and resources and just taking that leg out of it for families. So that's what I say when I mean an advocate for anybody. But in this case, the example is just for our families.
When you said that, it made me think of a year. And good to see you, Baba Zaid. I'm glad you got your page back up. This is my brother here in Jersey. I shouldn't say here in Jersey because I'm in Aruba. But it was the 495 school year, and I was a fifth grade teacher. I had a class roster of approximately 23, 24 students. But that word advocate, that's my word. And then when you preface it with passionate advocate. So I saw students in other classrooms who were struggling because of the person who was in charge of the classroom, if I can just keep it real.
Yeah.
And I went to the principal and I said, can I have, now I'm talking about students I don't know. I just see them.
Yeah.
But I see something in them, but I know that they're in this environment that whatever this is I see in them, it may never manifest in that environment. So I go to the principal, can I have that kid? Why, Kafele? Because I see something that I feel I have an ability to bring it out.
Right.
So the principal arranges it, kid transfers with me. That's 24. I see another one. Can I have that one too? That's 25.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Doc, can I have that one? 26. It goes on and on to 31.
Wow.
Now that's a lot of kids in a fifth grade classroom. My principal was on me like, come on, Kafele, you can't take the whole school in your classroom.
Yeah.
But in my mind, let's go back to your words, passionate advocate. I'm fighting for kids that I don't know them. The only thing I know is I see them in the hallway and they look like somebody that I could work with. Doesn't mean I'm looking at a kid and I see like you got the right manners, the right demeanor. I don't mean that. I mean whatever. It could be that kid, but it could be that other kid on the opposite side of the spectrum, right? But I'm saying I could do something with that kid. Now I got 31 kids in the classroom. But guess what? They made me the teacher of the year the next year.
Yeah.
Right. Because in 95, 96, because we were getting it done.
Awesome.
Right. Awesome. I'll take 50. We still gonna have the order and we still gonna have the right pedagogy so that the right learning is happening. But I'm saying all of that to say to you and the fam, passionate advocate.
Yeah.
In fact, hey, y'all hold up your mirror. And can you define, hey, Josh is filthy, I see. Can you define yourselves as passionate advocates of your students, of your staff, of your school, of your parents, of your community, of yourself, of your leadership, and I can go on and on.
Yeah.
Passionate advocates, it matters. Let's go. So I lost track of my notes, man. We got some caught up into that. So that last one, you called yourself a dedicated mentor, and I like how you given these adjectives.
Thank you.
Yeah, because like you didn't just say mentor, you didn't just say advocate. You know, it's like So this, you said a dedicated mentor.
Yeah.
What are you saying to us?
Yeah. So I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of different leaders over the last few years, but particularly this year, I've been mentoring 3 amazing up and coming leaders. And when I say dedicated, I mean, we're texting, we're walking through really hard conversations and really just being transparent in the work. I would say when I was first coming up and I would watch my principal, this is when I was a new teacher, I felt like everything was running perfectly. And, the person was sitting atop this perch and everything was just in order. And when I met a couple years later, many years later, when I met a principal who became a very close mentor to me, she kind of ripped that first layer off and allowed me to see her vulnerability and just the way that she worked through things. So one of the things that always stuck out to me that she said was, I don't have the answer for this right now, but we will figure it out. And so I think just hearing a leader say that let me understand, okay, well, everyone may not know, a principal may not know the answers to everything. An assistant principal may not know the answers to everything, but what we do need to know is who to ask, who to consult with, who to collaborate with so that we can come up with some great solutions. That just demystified the role for me. And so when I'm mentoring people, I'm very honest about my strengths and my shortcomings. And I ask them to be honest with themselves. What are you really strong in? And what are some things that you know you need to work on? And how could that impact your leadership? And so when we're doing visits, the people that I mentor come out to the school. We talk through. I don't hide things. I'm very honest with, hey, this is going to be a hard conversation. This is what I'm anticipating talking about. Things might go left. They might stay on course. I don't know. Be prepared for that. So I think just understanding and showing what the role is and just highlighting the positive parts. We are here for students. We are here to serve students, staff, and the community. If I don't do anything else during the day, if I don't get to my entire to-do list, what I will do is make sure I've helped somebody that day. And sometimes that's what this work is about. When we talk about joyful moments, who did I help today? Sometimes that's all I have. I go home with, well, I made a call for a teacher that was a challenge and we worked it out. I tied a kid's shoes today that needed help, right? I helped a child with something. Sometimes that's all we have. And that's still enough to come back the next day and continue on in the work that we do.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's right at just a few minutes over 12. So I want to promote this real quick.
Thank you.
The Principal's Journey, our guest today, having this conversation with me, Principal's Journey, Navigating the Path to School Leadership, written by, let me move my hand there, Dr. Rachel Edoho-Eket. You can get this at Amazon. You can get it right now. You can just go right to Amazon on your other device. Don't leave us, and get it. And also, you know, we have a lot of people on here right now. There's already been thousands viewing.
Wow.
But in terms of our real time, the folks who are just with us steady, it's almost at 700, and that's
Wow.
a heck of a lot.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah. So while those numbers are what they are, just let them know how they reach you. For whether it be just to hear what you got to say on social media, to book you, whatever it is.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Yeah. So you can go to RachelEdoho-Eket.com, no hyphen in there. And that has all of my socials there. But I am on Twitter at Rachel Edoho-Eket. I'm on YouTube at Rachel Edoho-Eket. I'm on LinkedIn, Dr. Rachel Edoho-Eket. And I'm on Instagram at The Principal's Journey. So I would love to stay connected and just see how we can continue to learn and grow and cultivate our skills together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got the local homie here, Eric Nixon. Eric, I wish I had your book in front of me, so I could put it on the screen. But I'll remember to do it when I'm at home doing this platform. But I felt what you said. I see every comment that comes on here, but I felt this one, and I couldn't let it just go. It says it's unfortunate that I'm that passionate advocate for students, but I've learned it can become your downfall if you're working in an environment where you have incompetent leadership. Student advocates aren't valued in environments where adults can hide behind chaos. Now, let me take you off the screen with that one, and let me just speak to that real quick. And if you want to jump in here, feel free as well, Doc. Hey, Eric, let me say this to you. That room, I've said it on this platform before, but you may not have heard that particular session. My room was room 303. That was the room number. I decided the only time that 303 is going to be used is on the floor plan. That's it. You know, like in terms of emergency management, they got to know the room numbers. But outside of that number had no relevance whatsoever. Myself and my students gave that room a name. It was called the Mind Zone. That's what we called it. We gave it a definition. The environment or the room where we take your mind and including mine, and transform it into greatness. That was our motto. That was the definition. I'm saying that to say this. Once they were in that room and the proverbial door was closed. I'm saying proverbially because I really talk with my door wide open. Right, because I wanted my colleagues to know what was going on in my room, to be quite frank with you. I was mentoring from my classroom. But proverbially, the door is closed. Hey, Eric, that's my world now. The rest of this mess out here, that ain't mine. Room 302 ain't me. 301 ain't me. Right? Those the two rooms next door to me. Those are not me now. That principal, that's not me. The assistant principal, that's not me. None of them are me. right? In that environment you described. Now, if we're talking about an environment where we got a real team, then yes, they're all me, right? But that's not what you described. So in that environment, which you may not have influence over, you may not, depends on what kind of influence that you wield. But I will say this in the intro, that room, that's my room, right? I wish my man Bashir Akinyele was on here right now. His comrade, brother Zaid, is, but Bashir Akinyele, he would say amen if he was on here. That his room in Weequahic High School, that's his space. And you may know Bashir, Eric, because you in Newark. So that's his space at Weequahic. And he's taking them kids and he's doing incredible things in that space. And in his mind, look, this my space right here, that's it. So I'm only saying that to you because I felt what you said in a positive way. If you're in that environment that you got stuff happening, just worry about what's happening in your world.
Yeah.
Your world. Yes, when your students go back into that other world, particularly the secondary level, they're going to be impacted by it adversely. I get all that. I get it. I understand it. But I'm going to try to be as influential as I can so that when they do go into those other rooms with those other teachers or just outside of the school, that they take a little piece of me with them. Bring me home so that you remember what I instilled. So now when they pop up on this thread on some of these Saturdays and they telling me, Kafele, you made a significant impact on me as a kid and I ain't seen you in 30 years. That's because they took a little bit with them of me. See, that's where you got to be with that, right? That's where you got to be. Yeah. Oh, yes, I got you. Yeah. So you know Bashir. So between myself and Bashir, and here goes Zaid right here. Zaid said Bashir is one of my top soldiers and is unsung, very original teaching legend in Newark. Wake up. That's it. I'm glad you're still here, Baba Zaid. Yeah, man. So let me get on back to my conversation. See, this Newark energy in the room got me all fired up.
Awesome.
Now, let me. Here we go. So let's get to your talking points. Hey Zaid, you tell Bashir that I told the world about him today because we got all over the place represented on here. Mm-hmm. Let's go to these talking points. Let me put the first one up here. Oh, I did. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Here we go. So you said for the fam out there that doesn't, that all of you should know how I do this, but I always ask my guests to tell me, just send me about 5 talking points about things that you're just very passionate about as it relates to your leadership. And that's what they do for me. I see you, Eric Williams, as well. Brick City in the building. So Dr. Edoho-Eket said, mentors make all the difference in elevating your career.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Give us that.
Yeah. I'm just so fortunate. I've said this over and over again, but I'm fortunate for every single mentor in my life who's poured into me. And they really have made the difference in me moving along. I'm the type of person who I would have been very content being in the classroom, impacting, as you mentioned, Principal Kafele, impacting my kindergarten teachers, students for 30 years and retiring. That would bring me a lot of joy. But through the work of my mentors and their encouragement, I've been able to move along in my career and just expand that level of influence. So the work that I was doing, as you mentioned, with 25 students, you're able to scale out in a school leadership role and really impact so many more students and teachers and families. So I'm thankful for my mentors, and just Principal Kafele, I want to just publicly say this. You have been an amazing mentor. First, by far, right? I've read many of your books, but then getting a chance to know you, watching how you lead in your space and how you have pulled up and elevated so many people, including me. I'm just extremely appreciative of you. So I wanted just to publicly say that.
Thank you. So mentors make all the difference in elevating your career. Let's stay on this one and let's look at it both ways in terms of us having mentors and us being mentors, right? This whole platform was my quest to be a mentor to as many as I could, right? Because you know the inboxes come, but you can't mentor all them people.
Yes.
So let me put out something, because I've had people ask me like, why are you doing this for free when you could be making money with this? I ain't interested in that. You know, people are, why don't you have sponsors? Blah blah blah. That ain't my thing. But you could be making money. Ain't money your thing? It is. But I got a connection with God. God take care of me. I ain't even worried about it. I never worry about that.
Yeah.
Right. So now this becomes that platform for me to mentor others through you all as my guest and myself, whatever 2 cents I add to it. And folks, you know, just the volume of people who say to me, I've benefited from this.
Yeah.
Right? People have been on the thread said it this morning. I benefited from this. So the mentorship there, but then going to the one-to-one. If there's somebody out here looking right now, appreciate you, boss educator. If there's somebody out there right now, and you are struggling, right? Then it becomes incumbent upon you to find somebody that you can latch on to.
Yes.
Your accountability partner, your thought partner, that one that's going to look you in the eyes and be truthful with you.
Yes.
Right? Not that one that's going to stroke you and tell you everything you do is great, but that one that's going to tell you what you may not want to hear, but what you need to hear.
100%. Yeah.
You got to be that person.
Yeah.
Then on the flip side, then I'm gonna flip it over to you. When people reach, you can't humanly mentor everyone that wants you. That's why I've done this. That's why I write all these books. Got 15 books written, 15 manuscripts, 14 books, 13 books until that new one comes out, right? So, but that's what that is. But then there are also people, individuals in real life that I can touch, that I mentor, right? So it becomes incumbent upon you as you elevate in terms of your productivity, in terms of your accomplishment, that you teach others, that you share with others what you've done and how you did it.
Yes, 100%.
In these political environments and all this mess coming their way, and they trying to figure out how to stay afloat. Well, maybe you have figured that out. Then you need to share that with somebody. Mentors, to read that caption again, mentors make all the difference in elevating in your career, right? Did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate what you said. I think people see people doing things, but if you're not asking the questions, you don't know how they're accomplishing those things. And so, you know, I've asked you several questions. I ask my mentors questions all the time because I want to make sure that I am on the right pathway. And last time we talked about mentors wanting to see you win. That's what we want. To me, the mark of a good principal, the mark of a good assistant principal, the mark of a good teacher is how many additional people are you bringing into this work? We already talked about a pipeline issue. So to me, a great measure of a great principal is, are you building up other leaders behind you? Because there will come a time when we're not going to be able to do the work. People retire, people leave, people do all sorts of things. And so you want to make sure that's a part of your legacy. So I talk about legacy building a lot because that's something that's important to me. I am the product of the legacy of so many people in my life. All of my principals, all my assistant principals, each one of them I'm still in contact with. I am a product of who they are. And I want others, right? We kind of extend leadership. I want my story to be part of someone else's story. So this is the way that I see it. The work that we do, the when you're pouring into somebody else, it comes back tenfold. So spending time with someone and helping them to cultivate who they want to be only makes you better.
Yeah. You know, you jogged something in my memory just now. I got to keep this brief. I just want to put it out there because it's relevant to the conversation. I left the school, and the school was high performing, but it wasn't before I got there. Right? It was the lowest performing school in the district. When I left it as the highest performing school in the district. And I left it as I left, it became blue ribbon. It became Title I Distinguished School Award and all that. See, because the
Amazing.
foundation was now there.
Yes.
It's like handing a school to someone on a silver platter. So I wasn't permitted, because you mentioned legacy, and this is what jogged my memory.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't permitted to be a part of the interviewing process of my replacement.
Right.
And the rationale was, we don't want to create another Kafele. We don't want your influence on that decision making, because we want something different from you. But in my mind, is this about personality, or is this about what you just said, legacy? Wouldn't you want me to be able to identify someone who would be a good fit for the prevailing culture of the building? Because that culture is not the culture I walked in on. That's the culture that we established. And when that new leader walks in there, you're going to inherit that. So wouldn't you want that legacy to be there so that we can perpetuate what's now in place, right? So I guess I'm not venting. I'm saying that to say to somebody that could also be a part of your reality, right? So it's a matter. It's nothing for you to navigate in that, because you're leaving. I was leaving, but it's just something to be mindful of, that there are a lot of flaws in this work that we do. There's a heck of a lot of flaws in this work that we do. So all you can do is the best you can do with what you have, which goes right back to what we were talking about with Eric, right? So with that, let me go to this second one. And you said cultivating leaders and talent, and I love this one. Cultivating leaders and talent spotting teachers is critical for school-based leaders. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it's very similar to the mentoring conversation, just being an example for people that people want to do the work. And I've talked a lot about this. There are definitely things in the role of school-based leaders where we're bogged down, and we feel that. Sometimes we wear that on our sleeve. We show kind of that heaviness in the role. And when I thought about it, because I have been at low points in my career, as I shared during COVID-19 as a new principal, I had to really reflect and think about, and what I'm modeling for other people, is that making people want to do this job one day? And the answer was no. So now what I've learned to do is to show more of the things that I love to do, and to model that, and talk to, potential teacher leaders about, doing this work. There are definitely so many teachers in our buildings right now who are more than capable of being school leaders. But perhaps because of, different situations or different circumstances, now may not be the right time. But it's important that, I'm not saying you have to cultivate principals today, but what I am saying is, if a teacher has that ability to be a leader on a team, a departmental leader, then we need to start pouring into them now to prime them for that role. Let's make our leadership team strong. I'm fortunate for every single person on our leadership team. Each one of them can independently run their teams, which is a huge blessing. Because that makes our job as the school-based team easier. If there's a parent concern, that team leader can step in, has that knowledge and understanding, and can address situations. So sometimes it doesn't even get pushed back up to our team. And so cultivating those leaders now, and just helping people see they do have those leadership qualities. I believe every teacher is a leader. I really do. You're leading your own classrooms at a minimum. You are able to do that. Some people have additional leadership qualities that would work scaling out. So I really think it's important for us as administrators to spend that little bit of time, might be 5 minutes, here and there, just speaking life into people and saying, you are more than capable of doing this. I was where you were at one point. Because I think sometimes that's hard for people to understand. They just see the end result. Oh, you are principal of this large school. Well, there was a full process to get there. So I think if we are more transparent about that process, we'll have more people ready and willing to do the work.
You just said the word right there. The word is process.
Yeah.
And it is a process, but everybody's process is not going to look the same.
Correct.
Because the way you proceed within your process is going to be rooted in who you are as an individual.
Yes.
But the bottom line is what you said, the process. And on the motivational side, you know, we always talk about being passionate about the goal, but you got to be equally passionate about the process.
Yes.
And if the process bums you out, if the process stresses you out, frustrates you, discourages you, you may never reach the goal. You may never reach the big idea. You may never reach the dream because the process itself discouraged you. You got to love the process.
Yeah, it's a part of the work.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. You got to love it. I'm sitting on this balcony every morning at the earlier part of the week. I mean, I'm in Aruba. I could be out on the beach, right? I could be doing anything.
Yeah.
But I want this book ready. So the process of sitting out there on that balcony, no air conditioner out there either, and just typing and revising and editing and refining, the process to this book, which I said on Facebook, is a masterpiece. Well, in order for that masterpiece to become that, in order for that dream of masterpiece to become a reality, I got to go through the process. But if it's going to be the best product, I got to enjoy the process of getting there.
Yes.
We just preaching to y'all, man.
Yeah.
Fam out there, man. So the process in terms of this work, as Dr. I'm not even going to reiterate because you said it all. But you got to enjoy that. But then as leader, we find those people. That's what the whole thing, talent spotting.
Yes.
See, so we find those folks. I love when I go on the road, man, and I'll meet a teacher who ain't thinking about becoming an administrator.
Right.
But the person is the one that is so vocal, right? And makes so much sense. And I say to the person during the break, you know you're a principal, right? And they look at me, nah, not me, not me. No, you a principal, right? And I'm just going to give that to you. God gave it to me and said to pass it on to you.
100%.
I meet them people like I'm speaking somewhere, or I might be a guest in their school, and they're like, "Remember when you talked?" I say, "Yeah, I remember. I'm principal now."
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, because I saw something, but sometimes in order for us, and you know this from this bullet, sometimes we need someone else to tell us things about us that we don't recognize ourselves. We don't see it.
Yes.
Because we're in it. But someone on the outside sees something in us that we don't see in ourselves. They're seeing us through a different lens.
Yes. Yes.
And that's our role, as you said, to identify. Let me go to this next one. I ain't gonna hold you up here all day. Right?
I know you're ready for lunch. I know.
I ain't thinking about lunch right now. I'm too engrossed in this conversation. My wife get ready to go eat lunch.
Yeah, she's ready.
she leaving.
Okay.
I'm too engrossed now. I'm focused, man. Listen, focusing on joyful moments and impacting others positively is a key strategy to building resilience. Holla.
Yeah. So whatever brings you joy in whatever role you're in, you have to make time to continue to do that. There's a picture of me going outside of recess, jumping rope with kids. That's what I like to do. Field day. We just had field day last week. Outside running with the kids. They already knew it's time to do the 50-yard dash. Let's run. So much fun. Now my knees are hurting now, so I'm going to retire from that for a little while. But it's very important that as school-based leaders and teachers, we take time to find the things that really do make us happy, and do more of that, because we have enough things that are challenging, that take away from some of the joyful time. So we have to be intentional about what we're doing, how we're spending time with. If it's students, then get into classrooms, get outside lunch and recess, find times with kids that are not necessarily in the classroom, but maybe related arts, some things where you're seeing them in a different setting and they see you in a different way. That's really what I love. I love building those relationships with kids. Side note, I saw one of my students from 16 years ago. just yesterday, and he has graduated from college. He's off to the military to be an officer. And it really reminded me of why we do this work. He was in my kindergarten class in 2008. He came to the school in his full uniform, and I saw the 5-year-old, but he's in the version of this tall man, this adult. And it reminded me, Principal Kafele, of what you say when you say see the students not only for where they are now, but who they can be in the future.
Right.
And so I just love those connections. His mother still preserved that kindergarten certificate from 16 years ago in mint condition. We took pictures, we connected, and I'm just very thankful for those moments of joy. And when we get to see the fruits of our labor all these years later, it just makes such a big difference in continuing to motivate me to connect with students and families and my staff as much as possible, because you don't get those moments back. So I just want to encourage anyone who's feeling at a low point, spend time, even this week, do 1 or 2 things that really bring you pleasure. It might be on the job. Hopefully it is. But if it's not, it's not. But just spend time doing that. That will really help uplift you during hard times.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you, whether it be on the job, outside of the job.
Yeah.
I had a teacher during my high school years. When I say a teacher, during my principalship, Mr. Michael Gary, and he was the dance teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed some moments. I'm human like everybody else. As much as I love my school, love the work, I needed some time. I needed some that joy time.
Yeah.
So I knew I could always get it in his room because they're typically engaged in different genres of dance.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't in there to evaluate at all.
Yeah.
If there was anything deficient, I'm not seeing it in those moments.
Right.
I'm there to take it down. I'm there to escape. I'm there to let me relax for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and admire my students in the work they're doing, and quite frankly, admire him in the work he's doing.
Yes.
And that would get me through.
Mm-hmm.
Another one was because we created a culture within the cafeteria that was conducive to not having supervision anymore. So now I could go into the cafeteria and just take it down, man.
Yeah.
So let's say like right now we're in the NBA finals season. So now I can go in the cafeteria and have some sports talk.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? We ain't talking about school. We let's debate. Right? Me, male and female. Let's debate last night's game.
Yeah.
Right. And I needed that. And I think that made me that much better, that much more effective. But I think it was also good for me emotionally in terms of getting through these challenging days of educating young people.
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
Yeah.
But then also, as you said, outside of school, like don't have all those great things that you used to do, and now you became leader, and now they're in your rear view mirror, and your whole life is this. That'll burn you out quickly.
Agreed. I was the same thing as, and I know we'll talk about it in the next point, but being a principal, being a school-based leader, being a teacher does not encompass all of who you are. That is a part of who you are. That's a role that you do. You are several other things other than that part of your life, right? So that's really important, not to attach yourself with a position. Knowing who you are outside of the position is really important to keep you balanced.
That's right.
Right.
Good stuff. Let's go to that next one. I loved all of these. This is another one I love. Committing to a work-life balance as a school-based leader opens many new doors and possibilities. What are you saying to the fam on that one?
Well, earlier when you had mentioned me being the MAESP president-elect, and lots of questions, how are you doing this as a working principal, writing books and those things? It is because I have really committed to having work-life boundaries in place. And what that means for me is that I am 100% in my position when I'm at my school. My staff knows that, the students know that, and the community knows that. I am extremely responsive to everything and everybody. But there comes a point at the end of the day, for me, it's between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, where I shut that down. And that's okay to do. I think before, during during COVID time, I can use that as an example. Anyone who was leading or teaching during COVID time, and many of us were at home during that time, at least for 6 months, to a year, many of us were at home. I didn't have any work-life boundaries. I had a laptop in my lap for hours around the clock. There was no separation between home and school. So it was actually nice to get back into the building because at least I was physically leaving my home and then physically going back home. But that absence of separation between work and school is really hard. And so now having those boundaries in place, a starting and a stopping time, and it's not every day I'm able to do that, but it is the intent there every day that I have an awareness that I need time now for my family, my friends, and my personal business. That's all fine. And I've been able to accomplish more now having those boundaries in place. So I just want to encourage you, if you are feeling overwhelmed, it might be because your boundaries need to be adjusted again. Many of you are not only, teachers and principals and leaders, but you're also in school right now. You might have a second job. There's several things that people are doing that encroach upon the time. So for me, what helps me is being very organized. I set out all my outfits, for the week on Sunday. That takes the guesswork. I look at my schedule, who am I meeting with? Is there a special event going on? And I set out my clothes for the week. So that's one less thing I have to think through in the mornings.
Yeah.
And I really live my life that way. I really try to make things as simple as possible. I auto schedule tweets for my school and for my professional life. All those things are set up in advance and they go out on time. So there are several things that we can do to help manage our time better. And that leaves us flexibility to do the things that we're passionate about. In my case, writing books is something I'm passionate about. Speaking at conferences, that gives me more time to focus there when I have other areas of my life in alignment.
I love it. I love it. Jacqueline Harriet up in Nova Scotia said, revisit and check your boundaries around personal and work. It is. And I can't overstate it myself. It's important. But I will say to the younger fam out there, it's something that some of us have to learn. I had to learn it.
Yeah.
I prided myself on being a workaholic. I bragged about it. I boasted about it. In fact, I probably criticized others for not being the same. And I had to grow.
Right.
When we talk about mental and emotional health and well-being, that wasn't the lexicon during my tenure as a principal. Nobody was talking about emotional health, and if we were, it wasn't applied to the principal.
Right.
We were talking about children, but not knowing that folks like myself who are eating and sleeping this work are doing ourselves in. Right. So even with the work I do now, I still got to put some boundaries around it and know when to shut it down, when to bring it down, and all that kind of thing. Right.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Let me keep going because we ain't gonna hold you all day. We almost done, folks.
Yeah.
We're almost there. Where we at? Here we go. Being visible and present as a school leader and having high belief in those you serve are essential to developing a thriving school community. Now, again, just as a reminder to the folks, to the fam that are out there, these are all Dr. Edoho-Eket's talking points in terms of areas of leadership that she's passionate about, right? So go ahead and let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah. So again, knowing the staff and knowing students, getting out of the office and just being a helpful presence for people has made a big difference in my effectiveness as a leader. I find that people trust you much more when they see you, when you've had personal conversations with people, when you take the time to get to know your teachers outside of their role as teachers in your school. So asking about their pets, asking about their children, their favorite TV shows, all of those things are really important to do. Same with students, getting to know them outside of them as a student. What are some of their interests and passions? That's really important. And then just having that high belief in those that we serve. So I have high expectations for myself. I'm not a perfectionist, but maybe I could be considered in some circles. But I try not to push that onto people, but I definitely do have high expectations for the work that we're doing in our building, and our staff knows that. But we provide agency. So there is a balance. I'm not, in classrooms making sure, with, with a white glove and making sure everything is that way. I'm not suggesting that. But I am suggesting that we do push our staff to help push our students. And we've got a great level of success doing that. So I think just making sure that if you have the choice to be in your office, maybe, do that for a portion of the time, but then also make the choice to go outside of your office and just take a walk around. Because what I have found when I'm walking around the classroom, around the building, actually, a teacher might say, "You're just the person I was looking for. I have this problem or this issue. Can you help me with it?" And yes, because you're right there, you're able to attend to those things in a quick manner. And that might save you a complex email, which saves you time. So I think it's really important just to be out and about so that you have that opportunity to really know what's going on within your building. Yeah, you have a better lens on that.
Yeah, absolutely. As you were speaking, what popped into my mind was, to the fam out there, if you, whether you be AP or principal, if you walk into a classroom and the students are surprised to see you, that's a problem. If you walk into the cafeteria and they're like, "Oh," that's a problem.
Yeah.
If you walking down the hallway between classes and "What are you doing out here?" That's a problem. Anytime they see you and it's a shock or a surprise to see you, and I'm talking about within this building during school time now,
right?
Then you gotta fix that. There should be no surprise that you came into this classroom, the gymnasium, the assembly, right? Whatever it is. If it's a student assembly, I'm there. Right? If it's a basketball, that's after school hours, obviously. But if it's a sporting event, I'm there. But there's never gonna be a time like what's like they talking to each other. What's the principal doing here? we ain't doing that.
Yeah,
I belong here.
right.
So therefore, I'm a fixture. Wherever you are, I am. Right. So just hold up your mirror and ask yourself about your visibility.
Yeah.
And am I in the places that I should be regularly? And it's no shock to anybody, that's inclusive of staff, that you're there because you're a part of this thing called school.
Yeah. And I have a strategy for anyone who needs help with that. This is something that I've been doing since I became an administrator, is I take my calendar and I intentionally block off times during the day where I'm out in specific grade levels or in specific areas of the school. So I think that's a good way to start. Just that way we know that there are, of course, going to be meetings and things sometimes that override those. But if we prioritize getting out and say, today I'm going to be visiting the 5th grade team for 30 minutes, and you're walking around, that already helps you become more visible. Today I'm going to the cafeteria. The cafeteria, if you go at the right time when there's a transition time, you can see 2 grade levels at one time within 10 minutes. You have already seen hundreds of kids just by the way you've positioned your time and the transition. So please just try to think of strategies like that. And I do have many in my book, but those are things that helped with the visibility when I first got started. Now it's more second nature. If I have a break, I'm just going to walk. I refill my water bottle and walk to school, right? So that's just a part of it now, but you have to be intentional about putting that time on your calendar first if you need that help as a first step.
Doc, we got one more.
Yes.
But ain't no way in the world I'm going to transition to it.
Okay.
Because you just said something, and I see people picked up on it in the thread. Let's put a time on it. So it's 11:10, and lunch ends at 11:20. I'm just putting numbers on it. So you walk, so you got a lunch period with the end of the 11:10 lunch period, and then the beginning of the one that starts at 11:22, 23.
Yeah.
So now you have an opportunity of being in that 11:10 for 10 minutes.
Yep.
And you see whatever number of kids in there, it could be 100, 250, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then you stay in there, or you see them as they dismiss.
Mm-hmm.
And then welcome the new group in, and that's not you necessarily welcoming them, but you can say hi, right? So, but then here they come, and now you spend another 10 minutes.
Yep.
You just saw maybe half the school.
Correct. That's how I get my hugs. I stand in the middle and I just get my hugs.
That's it. So
That's where I do it.
someone trying to figure out, and I'm gonna tell you something else, fam. And Doc could tell you this herself. It's just, you know, every time you say something, you got my mind racing. So now, if there's a situation with how we dismiss,
Yes.
you see it.
100%. Yep.
And then then I might as well wait and see how they enter. So now if there's a situation how the next group enters, you see it.
Problem solving right there on the spot. And that's really powerful to do, definitely in the beginning of the year, because that's where we have to spend some time with logistics. But I do that all the time because it helps me see 500-600 kids. And again, I might be in a meeting, but if I can position myself and see 2 more grades, that's 600 kids right there. So I'm not doing anything revolutionary, but it is smart. And so we have to be strategic in what we're doing if we want to increase our visibility.
I love it. I love it. We got one more, fam.
Okay.
This one is my absolute favorite too. My of the 6 I think you gave us. Do not be afraid to take professional risk and try new things. If you have something to share with the world or something you want to pursue, try it and keep learning. And I guess you had this as a part of it. Everything is an interview. Was that?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was something I should have. Okay, so it belongs. So I'm not going to say anything. It's my favorite. The floor is yours. What are you telling us here?
Yeah. I look back to a year and a half ago, 2 years back. There were definitely some things that I wanted to do. I didn't know how to do them or necessarily how to start, but we all have those things in the back of our minds where we have a vision for something. God's given us a vision for something, but we don't necessarily know how to get started, or we're timid, or we have some anxiety or fear around failure. And I just want to say to everyone that step out and take that risk, take that professional risk. You never know where things can lead. Principal Kafele talked about it last year. My resume and my bio was very different than, it's been less than a year, frankly. I saw you in July, so it has not been 12 months. It really hasn't. But my life is dramatically different today than it was last year. And I know next year it's going to be dramatically different in another year, in a good way. And so I really just want to encourage you, if you have something you want to share with the world, do it. I have found so many beautiful connections across the country and beyond. People I did not know, but you feel like you know people over time. You connect with their work, they connect with your work, you share new ideas, you work and support each other. It's been amazing. So if there's something that you want to do, I'm not saying it has to be writing, but if there's something, maybe you want to be a singer, maybe you want to be a chef, there's different things that people want to do. You can do them successfully in addition to the work that you're doing right now. It is possible. I'm a witness to that. And I know Principal Kafele is also a witness to that. It is possible to do multiple things well at one time. And you learn. You make a mistake, okay. You learn from it, you get better for the next time. That's a part of learning. And that's what we tell our students, right? That's right. Try it and see what happens and make an adjustment and try it again. That's all that I've been doing this entire process. And I've been so blessed. I've been truly blessed by this entire process of risk-taking, connecting, networking, and learning.
I love it. I love it. Folks, I gotta share this one thing with you. I know I said this on here once, but we've done 214 sessions. I don't know which one, but back during, I guess I was coming up on the end of my middle school principalship before I went into my high school principalship. But I already knew that I wanted to do the work I do now as a full-time presenter. So I'm planning for whenever that's going to be. I had no idea when, but I'm planning. I'm laying a foundation. Right. So I'm in the New York area. I'm in New Jersey, which is where I live, but our media is New York City. So there's a show called Good Day New York. So I wondered to myself, are there any other Good Day shows beyond New York? So other cities. And I found out there were many. Good Day Atlanta, Good Day Denver, Good Day Birmingham, Good Day several others. No internet yet during these days. So I had to figure out, how can I get on these shows? And I found the producers to all these shows somehow, because it wasn't. I know it wasn't internet. I don't know how. No, maybe it was internet. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I guess maybe it was. So yeah, it was internet. So because it was in the early 2000s. So I reached out to them and I gave them a pitch, and they all gave me an opportunity. I couldn't get the New York one, but I didn't try as hard. But I got all them other ones. And if you go to my YouTube channel called Principal Kafele Throwbacks, you'll see them, right? They're all there. And most people don't even know I have that channel, but all my old stuff is there. Principal Kafele Throwbacks. You see me giving speeches in the 90s and all that kind of stuff, right? So they got me on. And I had 2 books, a Black Parent's Handbook to Educating Your Children, which was an Essence magazine #1 bestseller, and a handbook for teachers of African-American children. So those 2 books, they put them on the screen. And that thing propelled me.
Right.
In other words, that I'm reading the first part of the bullet point. Do not be afraid to take professional risk and try new things. I took a risk. I had to pay. They didn't pay me to come out to those cities. Now they didn't pay me to come to Denver. I had to pay the airfare, the hotel, the ground transportation, everything. But I got 5 minutes on live TV. Good Day Atlanta, I got 5 minutes on live TV.
Yeah.
Good Day Birmingham, 5 minutes on live TV. What do I know about sitting on some live TV? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. All I knew was cable, recordings. It was live TV. But I took them risks to get to where I am right now. Like Valerie Macy said, invest in you. I invested in me, right? So that's why I said to you, Doc, I said that last one, that's where I want to go. Where we at? That's mine right there. When I read these earlier in the week, I said that's mine right there. That's the one I'm most passionate about, because and I'll just say this as we close out to the fam. I don't know what percentage. I wouldn't know what percentage of you want to just be right where you are. I'm good. I'm gonna ride this out throughout the rest of my life. But some of you may want to move into central office. Some of you may want to be directors. Some of you may want to be supervisors at the central office level. Some of you may want to be assistant superintendent. Some of you may want to be superintendent. Some of you, like when I was a new principal in East Orange, there was a teacher that used to come to me and ask me for advice on becoming a principal. All right. Well, that teacher that I was giving advice to, his name is Dr. Lamont Repollet. He went on and became principal at Carteret High School in New Jersey. He went on and became superintendent at Asbury Park, New Jersey. He went on and became New Jersey State Commissioner of Education.
Wow.
And now he's the president of Kane University, which is where I got my undergrad degree. That same guy that used to come over to because we had 3 schools within a building, that used to come through the door into my building and ask me for advice, right? So he obviously took those risks, and now here he is, the president of my alma mater. He was just I forget what subject he taught, but I think he taught language arts, but I'm not sure. But he was a teacher in the class. I don't want to say just, he was a teacher in the classroom, but he saw that he wanted to do bigger things.
Amazing.
Yeah. Amazing.
Wow.
So, and he'll be on the platform at some point. I just keep forgetting to call him, right? But he'll be on here, right? But anyway, I'm not gonna put you through the BAM impact questions again, because we did them. Yeah. So, but what I do want to say is, well, first let me ask you, any closing thoughts?
Again, I just want to encourage everyone. I know the work that we do is challenging at times, but there are so many wonderful things that we do. Just keep focusing on those. I know our school, we have 10 days left. So I wish everyone a wonderful, some of you are already on summer break. We're just a little bit envious of that. But definitely take this time this summer to rest, recharge, get ready for the next school year. The work that we do is significant. The work that we do changes lives. The work that we do matters. And so thank you for the investment that you are putting into your students, your staff, your community members. And I also want to encourage you to invest in yourself. Keep growing as a person, keep trying new things and see where it takes you. Keep putting in that work.
I appreciate that. That's powerful. And Josh, yeah, she did the BAM questions.
I already did those, Josh.
Yeah,
Come on.
So how did they get in touch with you once again? And let me put this book up on the screen. Let me change the screen here.
Thank you.
Let me get rid of that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So you can purchase the Principal's Journey on Amazon, and you can also get the Principal Pals. Don't forget my children's book and the accompanying educational book, also on Amazon. You can go to RachelEdoho-Eket.com, and all my socials and things are there. My speaker information and different articles and things on Instagram, at the Principal's Journey. On Twitter at Rachel Edoho-Eket, on LinkedIn, Dr. Edoho-Eket, and on YouTube at Rachel Edoho-Eket. Thank you so much for your support. And I'm just extremely blessed and appreciative to all of the people that I've connected with and will continue to connect with.
I appreciate you. And fam, you know how we celebrate our guests. I see the emojis coming. I kind of went out of sequence because I didn't do the BAM, but give us those emojis. Yeah, I see them. Yeah. For those of you who are not fam yet, hopefully you're fam now. And that fam means that you're regular viewers. And but let us know how you felt about today, if it resonated with you, if it was good, if it was informative, if it was practical, if you can take some of these strategies with you. Give us your favorite emojis. And you know, when I travel, I bring my smaller bag.
Yes.
Hit it out the park. Josh Gibson style, the #1 batting average in the history of the major leagues now. Broke a record that was almost a century old of Ty Cobb. Josh Gibson, Negro Leagues, never permitted into the majors. And I might add, Josh Gibson died in 1947, 3 months before Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. So remember, Jackie was great, but Jackie wasn't the best in the Negro Leagues, right? But Josh Gibson, but he had a seizure, and he had a stroke, and the stroke is what took him out of here, as they would say, and he made his transition. But imagine he had lived, and he would have come on over to the major leagues. He probably would have been the first. Right, but he didn't live long enough to be able to do it. But the major leagues got it right, and acknowledged his batting average as the best ever. Awesome. Right? I know that ruffled some feathers out here in the world because I've been reading about it on social media, particularly Twitter. But that's okay. It's right has been done. So with that said, y'all, I appreciate you being here every Saturday morning, 10:55. Keep on coming back because every week is strong and solid. So with that said, you stay online with me so we can talk off camera, Doc. But let me give you the rundown, and then I'm done, y'all. I'm gonna go back outside and enjoy Aruba for one more day, right? And by the way, man, I appreciate y'all numbers, man. It's 1 o'clock, and it's in terms of real time peak viewers, we're at 732.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
Amazing.
Which translates into probably about 3,000.
Wow.
That have been in, right? So everybody didn't stay the whole duration, but there's a lot of people been in here. So next week, I got one of my Cincinnati colleagues. I'm looking forward to her. She's an early childhood educator. She's a curriculum designer, and she's an author of a children's book series called Big Hair. Her name is Dr. Christine Gibson. So she'll be joining me with another young man who's a counselor, but also professor at Georgia State University in counseling. His name is Dr. Bobby, and I forget the pronunciation of his last name. I think it's Gueh, Gueh. But there'll be I'll have the two of them next week at 10:55. So certainly join us. I think I'm gonna be in LA for that one. Some of you know I'm a Milken winner. So the Milken Forum is this week. So I'll be in LA at the Milken Forum. So I'll be doing this from my hotel room on next Saturday. Watch Facebook Live every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock with Sean Hurt, followed by Create and Educate, Dr. Sheikah Houston, Dr. Tammy Taylor at 10:30, and then myself at 10:55. for Super Saturday. And then Josh rounds it out, Tovar, on Sunday with PGP podcast at 5 o'clock Eastern. And that makes us the Fantastic Four. School Leadership Institute with me, July 9 and 10 in Houston. Go to principalcafele.com, scroll down to the announcement section, hit the link. Come on out and join me. Register and join me in Houston, July 9 and 10. We're talking instructional leadership, man. We're going to do it for 2 days, 9 to 4 both days. Black Educators Rock Conference, which I'm a part of the Black Educators Rock organization, July 18 through 21 in Houston. Also, coincidentally, it wasn't deliberate. And I'll be doing a full day leadership session on the 21st. That's on a Sunday. So go to rockconference.org and register and join us. You know my books. I don't have any with me, but you know them. But we got Rachel Edoho-Eket.
Thank you.
Get her book, right? But then while you're at it, you get mine. Put Baruti Kafele in the search engine on Amazon, and you'll see all of my books there. And then where we at, subscribe to the AP and New Principals Academy YouTube channel, and like and follow the AP and New Principals Academy Facebook page. And then finally, and also visit principalcafele.com. I don't talk about that a lot, but I got a lot of resources on there, man. I got all sorts of videos, all sorts of blog posts, all sorts of articles. I got all my stuff is there. Not every article I've written, not every video and podcast, because it'd be too much, but there's a lot there. And then I should also say, since so many people are watching, somehow my brand has shifted in the eyes of the public. And people are looking at me as solely the leadership guy. And I think it's because of this platform. Hey, folks out there that have influence in bringing in presenters and consultants, I still do teacher work.
Yes.
But I'm finding that work diminishing, and I'm finding the leadership increasing. So I love doing the leadership work, but I also love talking to the teachers. So listen, y'all, I still do. Go to principalcafele.com, and I got about 15 different workshops I do with teachers, right? So don't look at me as solely the leadership guy. I mean, I'm that guy. But I also still talk to teachers on a variety of different topics. And even my convocation invites are not what they usually are, because people are confused by this platform, I'm sure. But no, I still do convocation speeches. I can still blow the roof off the building for the back to school convocation message. I got 3 dates open in August, right? The rest of the month is booked. But I got 3 dates open in August, maybe to your 3. August 14, 15, and 16. They're still open. 14, 15, and 16. If you got a convocation coming up, I'm your guy. If you want someone that's going to set that place on fire figuratively, I'm your guy. If you want someone that's going to lift that roof off the building figuratively, I'm your guy. Right? So I still talk to teachers. I gotta keep putting that out there.
Keep reminding. I'm
not just the leadership guy. So with that said, then let's make it happen. Right? Let's make it happen. I'm ready. So anyway, your diet, your exercise, and your virus precautions. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves. Other than that, folks, I appreciate you being here. I'm appreciate you more as you keep being here. So have a great week. Have an extraordinary week. Have your best week yet. Peace. Peace. Thumbs up. Cock that fist back. I don't know why them numbers are still increasing.
We're good.
740. Cock that fist back. Bam! They said we're in a different time zone. We thought we was ready to start. Hey, y'all, I see you next week. Those of you that have been tuning in late, go to YouTube now and catch the video. We there.
Bye.